Swoop races are here. 3 factions, 3 tracks, reputation, rewards. We'll talk about all of that and more on this episode of the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 344. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Hey, Max. Well, I've been swoop racing recently. I know you're shocked to hear that.
Shocked.
Yes, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But yes, I've been swoop racing on 2 or 3 different characters. I mean, I haven't maxed out my rep for the week, which I do kind of want to get there between now and Tuesday, just so that, just because we won't see this again now until it comes back up in the event cycle. But the good news is it's pretty fun, so it won't be like an onerous task or anything. But you know what? I want to tell you that I am in Tres Comas is in my sights. I'm getting there. I'm like in the high 900 million. So
should we create a segment around it, like the race to the trace or something like that? And Seema's race to the trace?
Well, I'm kind of surprised because I was pretty committed to never doing it.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then
yeah, yeah.
it kind of just overcame me. I kind of lucked out though, because really I haven't been doing a lot of hard work with it. I'm still just selling stuff that I already had, selling invasion forces. I just recently started selling solid resource matrices, which I didn't do because everyone said, "Oh, they sell for so little now," but they sell for more than nothing, which is
I mean,
that's how much good they're doing me just sitting in my
yeah,
material storage.
I mean, $250,000 is the little that they sell for, but still, yeah, that
Um,
ain't nothing.
and let's see what else. I even sold a few of the war supplies that you make with biochem, which is, I mean, I have like 600 of them,
Yeah. Yeah,
which is
because they
which
were a
is
key one to make, but people are buying those? Well, I guess people buy everything.
it's not a lot. When somebody buys one, it's yeah, they come back a lot, so they don't buy a lot. Um, and let's see. I mentioned last week that I was going to buy biocath recombinators and make dark projects. I did not do that because what I wasn't taking into account, and I feel like I should bring this up since I mentioned it, was that it also takes an invasion force to make a dark project. And when you put in the amount that you could sell an invasion force plus the cost of the Iocath recombinator, it's about equal to what the dark projects are going for.
Right.
It's just not worth it. I just rather sell the invasion forces if I'm going to use them.
Right. Yeah, you
What
gotta
I
watch
did
that kinda stuff. A lot of
what I
people
did
undercut, and then
yeah,
they're selling under cost, and they're losing money over just selling the mats. So
right.
I always spreadsheet it out.
What I did do a couple times, and I don't know if this is really worth the effort, but um, I did go and buy a couple of Iocath recombinators and sell them straight
Mm,
out,
sure.
which it's like found money, but it's just like 80K or 70K profit, but it's still free money. So I went there, you go there and buy them for 250 or whatever it is, and then sell them for 360 or 370. Um, but yeah, so that is, and I have one character that has about 20 million credits on her that isn't part of my Trace Comas amount because that's the money I'm going to use for any character that I feel like I want them to have a level 50 companion.
Sure.
So it doesn't have to come out of the Trace Comas total
Right, 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 right.
ever. So I don't have to feel like, oh, I can't do it yet. I can't do it yet. But I feel like that anyway.
Right.
Um, so let's see. Yeah, Swoop Racing, Trace Comas. Ops tonight we had a confab. We didn't run tonight. Instead, we hung out in Discord and talked about various and sundry things. It was actually fun. It was
Yeah.
really nice.
And there was a bunch of
I
GSF
enjoyed it.
going on in a little
Yeah. That
corner
I didn't
of
have
the
to
crew
do,
too.
so that was good, yeah.
Right. Right.
I was um, MFN, we, uh, did something. Oh, I know what it is. We did swoop racing.
Right.
So we didn't do an event or anything. We didn't do it as a group. We just hung out in Discord while people were playing with it. But I totally can see, like I know BioWare said they don't feel like they can put together a racing mini game where players race against each other because of how timings vary across the internet. But we could.
Yeah.
We totally could because I've noticed that just running it myself that you kind of like try to beat the guy next to you who's running next to you.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an excuse. I mean, I mean, even every war zone when you're racing against a player from the other side to get to a node to cap the node, it's not like people don't know that there's a little bit of server lag, and even though it looks like you're a second ahead, you might not be. It's whoever caps it, and everybody gets that. Nobody goes,
Right.
I need to submit a ticket because on my screen it looked like I. No, I mean you get it.
Well, yeah, and like somebody pointed out too, I mean, GSF is like that, so why not? But oh well, it is what it is. So this swoop game is more like Swoop Rally is more like golf or bowling, where you play against yourself.
Right. Get some achievements, figure the courses out, run it
Yeah,
optimally so that you're hitting all the objectives that you want, and build up the rep with each of the three things. And so we'll talk about that in detail and what
yeah.
that looks
Marcus
like.
in the chat room says that would be good for Mega, which it would be.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit. Yeah, and I've got some ideas for that. Yeah, I mean you have to be careful so that you kind of everybody starts at the same time. But there's ways you can make that happen. Because otherwise, if somebody accidentally starts first, you can't. The, but we'll see when we get there. You can't stop. You can't stop and then hit go. It's you're going as soon as you get on the mount. It's just going and going, and then if you get too close to the starting line, then it goes. So
Right.
that's a little bit difficult. Uh, I have been swoop racing. Thank you for asking. Uh, I figured you ready for me to talk about, right? Like jumping ahead.
Yeah. What have you been up to this week, Max?
I have been swoop racing. I've been pretty busy at work, but the bigger thing that I was doing besides swoop racing and just a little bit of conquest on the side has been other guild stuff, which we'll certainly talk about in detail as well. We had our big guild event over the weekend, and I was spending a lot of time across all of those streaming events. I'll touch on that. I'll show you some of that on the guild channel when we get to that segment in our news. But other than that, in Star Wars, yeah, just clipping along, playing to trying. I only tried out a few of the races. In fact, I don't think I finished the races on Tatooine just yet. But that's what this 3-day weekend is going to give me the opportunity to do. And I did get enough of experience with all of what the production, the non PTS version of the event has to offer, that we'll be able to talk about that in detail, which is really cool. It is really fun. So we will talk about that. Uh, Otherwise, since it's been 2 weeks since our last show. So we didn't do last week in favor of prepping and finishing up for getting ready for that streaming weekend and doing our big guild town hall, which I hosted. So we have a little bit of news since then. Like we got the update 2 weeks ago. Let's hear what else happened in the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
So as we've been seeing, and filling up the dev tracker continues to be Bug Watch. I'm keeping an eye on Bug Watch. Most of Bug Watch is basically just, hey, I see you reported a bug. We'll look at that bug. I told the dev team that there's a bug. There's not very much, and so now I'm getting a little bored at looking at it. Not that it's bad. I think it's still a good thing just to know that somebody's looking at it, but there's not too much of and here's the solution. If anything, it's, yeah, we know about that one. Yeah, we know about that one too. It's in the notes, as opposed to some of the what we might want to see, which is, here's what we found, here's the next steps, this is what you can do to work around it in the near term, this is the patch that's going to get fixed in. There's a little bit of that, but not very much. Anyway, I still keep an eye on it. A couple things have already shown up, and they've even been fixing some of it. So we'll talk about some in some of like the 612.a fixes, like this thing. What's even the name of this thing in the upper left of our windows now, or wherever you're dragging it to? It's we gotta, maybe we need to come up with
It's
a
like
nickname for
Galaxy
it.
Guide or something like that.
The the
Yeah,
the 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 bar the barf bar. I don't know
the
even
bar that won't
the
go away.
the thing we didn't ask for and don't need. Um, anyway, it was also graphically causing issues as an example, and they knew about it and they ended up fixing that. This I don't mind it when it's closed. It's fine. It's got a couple things that are a little bit of news I can use. Will never drop it down. I don't see a reason to find out what happens to be on the cartel market. I'll just go to the cartel market if I want to find out what's going on there, and I know what I'm doing. I mean, I've got a mission log to see what's in my mission log. I
I
I don't
think it
know.
was sleeker, way sleeker before when it was just part of the chat window.
Just the bar part, the sort of
Yeah,
the yeah, I agree.
yeah.
I mean that's what I wanted there, and I mean if you wanted to really make that useful, then make that configurable and let me turn things on and off there, sort of like the kind of add-ons we have in some other games like Titan Bar, where I can pick and choose what I have up there. Maybe I'd want the number of credits I have across all of my characters, and I could see how close I am to Trace Comas and watch it tick up and have it be sort of useful configurable information. As it stands, just having the number of people logged on, like this one right here, I do like this one. So right now on the Republic side, we happen to have 8 people on at the moment. I like seeing that. That's news I can use. So great. Friends list. I actually don't use friends list because everybody in the guild, all our friends are in the guild, and the guild is all of our friends. And then I use Discord to talk to people. I never add anybody to the friends list, so that one's not very useful to me. What is this one? Is this the number of the people on the fleet? Must be 173. I guess that's fine. I guess that's interesting, not very interesting. And then number of mail, which I don't really care about either. So who's logged on in the guild? That number right there is the only thing I care about. Okay. Anyway, that aside, that was one of the bugs that they fixed, is that interfering with you being able to like drag buttons around and that kind of stuff. Because even when it was collapsed, it was overlapping other windows. The other thing that is bug, not a bug, is if you look at Conquest this week, guild invasions, there's no small yield planet. That's by design. For this event, they wanted the 3 planets that were available to match the 3 planets that were part of the event. So it's Dantooine, Tatooine, and Onderon. And I guess those are already configured as large, medium. And as a result, they had no small planet this week. I think that's a little weird. Just add more planets in. We want more planets.
Yeah.
Add more planets. Yeah, fine. Add, I don't know, add Corellia, because there's a shipyard there that makes some of these swoop bikes where there's getting sourced. I don't know, make something up. Just give us more planets. Fill it up with planets.
I mean, just in general, when you're deciding how to implement something, we're always gonna we're always gonna cough if you reduce our options.
Right. Reduce our options. And in this case, for a very small guild who was relying on those small yields, sort of screw them over for this week.
Right.
Yeah.
It's sort of like saying, "Yeah, okay, you can play next week.
Right.
Sorry."
Right. Yeah. So that's non-optimal. And then the other one where they sort of did something similar inadvertently. I guess there was a bug where, uh, which a bug where you could end up not having to pay to unlock your crew skills from 600 to 700,
Yeah.
and they decided in a good way. At least they didn't say, well, it's an exploit, and if you're taking advantage of that, it's a problem. So fine. They did eventually fix it so that those cases didn't happen. But then in fixing it, broke a bunch of people's characters that had unlocked those crew skills at whatever configuration caused them to take advantage of that bug. So that you're getting people that were having like their crew skills were at 600, 700 of 600, or other people that got their crew skills set back to 600, and it seemed to conflict and be different ways that it manifested itself. And so they had to fix that. There is a couple comments in the
And
dev
this is
tracker of multiple ways that that's going to have to get like fixed over time now. Some of it's already
it's
fixed, some of it's not yet. Ugh.
and it's just an example too of where the transparency could have been beefed up because when it originally happened, people thought that cost had been removed.
Right. I c- yeah, in fact, I thought I saw this and I thought I just sort of rolled with it and was like, "Oh, I guess I didn't have to pay for that anymore,"
Right.
which seems
And
fine.
so when they discovered it, and I don't know when that was, right? Because maybe they didn't discover it right away. They never said, "Oh, that was unintended."
Yeah.
And so when they fix it, they never said, "We're going to fix it, so watch out, you're gonna have this cost that you haven't had to bear in the past." They just did what they did. It was just all along the way, people didn't know what was happening, and it caused way more kerfuffle than it had to, even though it was always gonna cause some for kerfuffle.
Right. Right. And it I get if you need to fix it and want to fix it, and the communication would really be key in any kind of change like that. But then also having the fix break other stuff, it's just non
I
optimal.
mean, the communication is key, but not in some kinda Care Bear, fluffy, fluffy way. It's key because if you don't tell us, we are gonna make up the worst possible reasons for why. I mean, it's just human nature, and we're gonna fill in the gaps with, you know, our own fears and
Yeah.
inadequacies, and it's not gonna be a happy narrative ever.
Right. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. No. No. Very few of the possible scenarios that people dream up will be how Bioware did a good job.
Or
So,
or even
and it's
or
going to be
even
unfair, probably.
even it won't even be neutral.
Yeah. Right.
It's just gonna be yeah,
It's gonna
whatever.
be, "This is because they hate marauders, and this is the last straw. I am going to delete. I took the day off of work for this. They owe me compensation." That's what it'll sound like. Just if you turn on the microphone in the players' homes. Uh,
Right.
so that's but okay, and then there's one other of those uh, unfix things that I'll talk about when we talk about the event rep that I'll rant about a little bit later. So you have that to look forward to.
Right.
What about games 6.1.2, Seema?
All rants all the time. Okay, so there are some what am I doing? Known issues, right. One being that the world boss on Zyos, which is the world breaker monolith, sometimes does not drop loot when defeated. So, okay.
so that was so this was 6.1.2. This was the Swoop Race patch that went in a week and a half ago, even though Swoop Race didn't start, but the other stuff went in with that update. But then yeah, so they said what? So this is, oh yeah, there's a couple other fun ones in this. Yeah, so there's known issues, but that patch went in, and the patch went in just fine 2 weeks ago for that. Did you see this other known issue though? The female characters' bodies.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. But yes, I did see that.
Have you seen the
But
videos of the pictures of the animated gifs that
no.
people are making of that stuff? Yeah,
Uh-uh.
it really contorts. These characters are like contorting themselves all over the place. Hey, if you
I
want
was just
upvotes on Reddit,
oh, I have seen that. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, there you go.
With with
That's a
the
way
with the
to.
tagline of "I hope this never gets fixed," because yeah, it was pretty awesome. I was just laughing because the whole, I thought you were gonna say we put in swoop racing and broke the world boss on Zyos.
Well, that that probably too. That's how those things. That's how those things go.
Another known issue is when logging into an existing character, some elements of your UI may be overwritten, and I have been experiencing that for sure.
Oh, okay. So the problem you were having earlier where
Yeah.
your raid frames got changed back to party frames.
Party frames, yeah. It says when logging into an existing character with a personalized interface or swapping to an older character, certain UI element. Well, who doesn't have a personalized interface? I guess if you haven't touched interface editor at all, maybe.
Maybe.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but yes, all I read is that UI elements may be overridden, and that's definitely happening. Oh yeah, Galactic Guide, I was right. So it can be can only be moved when the enable movable secondary window setting is active. Well, we knew that. I
R-
guess that's a known issue. I thought it was supposed to work that way.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. But at least they fixed the part. Okay, so then the next update was this week, which is 6.1.2a, and that fixed. Well, the intent was to fix some of these known issues. Um,
Mhm.
However, uh, they accidentally broke other things in fixing those known issues. They broke um, they broke the whole patch. There was issues with certain consumables like rep tokens, for example, where you could click the rep token, get the rep, and the rep token didn't go away. So on Tuesday this week, when 6.1.2a went in, that's why the service came up, and then they took the service back down, and they had to do a little bit of extra work, and everything was a little bit of a mess in on Tuesday. It didn't take them that long to fix it though, so apparently they were able to track it down relatively quickly. But 6.1.2a, when it did finally get in there, so now it's live right now. They were fixing some of those known issues. Uh, some of the there's still yeah. Here's the list of what they're planning to fix. But what did they actually fix? Oh, here's the patch notes. So patch notes say they fixed the lockouts for Nature of Progress. We haven't. We should probably go back there. We've been avoiding it lately. I don't know why. Uh, they fixed the thing for some of the people. They fixed the thing with the 600 to 700 on the crew skills. They fixed the thing with the Galactic Guide, preventing the interaction with NPCs and objects in the game, even when minimized. And what that was when it was not minimized, that amount of the window was invisible when you minimized it, but invisible but overlapping the things that were behind it.
Yeah,
So that's why you
right.
couldn't be
Yeah.
moving things. They talked about no longer vanish when unchecking enable movable secondary windows. So they're fixing that kind of thing. And they and I didn't get this one. No longer disconnected quickly when opening and closing the Galactic Guide. One of the things that they still haven't fixed, and there's still some open issues.
Is there an old junker taking up space in your
Uh,
hangar bay? Donate it to the Resource
Sorry, I
Reclamation
listened to the
Initiative
fleet
today.
announcement. Very important, um, important information.
That you haven't already heard many times.
One thing that I forgot to mention in the bug tracker bug watch is one issue that they're just again, it's one of those ones that they said, "Oh, we'll look into this." Is I log in, and this is happening to me this week now, and I think it's permanent for me. It's and repeatable. I haven't tried it again today because I didn't have to reboot my PC right in the middle or right before the podcast. But if I log into Star Wars, get into my characters, close the game, shut down Star Wars, the Old Republic, go back in, the second time I do it, I get the quick play 0% progress. You
Yeah.
can't log into any of your characters. And it stays that way no matter what I do, no matter what processes I shut down, no matter how many times I mess with my computer, no matter even if I log my account out in Windows and log back in, it stays that way until I reboot. And I have to do a full reboot, and then I can get back into Star Wars The Old Republic until I get back out again. So that's kind of frustrating. And apparently it's a known issue now. Some people say get rid of Bitrater. Maybe that would work. You got to download the whole game if you're going to do that. That's annoying to me. So I wanted to mention that I was annoyed. So there you go. Anyway, 6.1.2a fixed some things, broke other things that hopefully they'll be fixing again. And and hopefully they'll be fixing more in the near future. How about this this next news item, Seema? Did you confirm that it's a news item?
Well, I mean, when we were poking around in SWTOR dev tracker and looking for stuff a couple days this week, we noticed that Eric is posting again. So must be back. So welcome
Eric
back, Eric.
must be back.
I hope he had a fantastic time off and that his family's doing well, and we're happy to see him.
Yeah, we need a report. Eric, come visit, come say
And,
hi. Tell us
and
what's up.
pictures, baby pictures.
Yeah, we need that. We need that kind of thing too. That would be great. Hey, stream check. My safety check of the stream over here was not looking great. Everything looking good for you guys on the stream there? News item. Streaming is hard, and sometimes doesn't work perfectly. No, it's not. I think it's fine. Everything looks fine there. Nobody's yelling at me. No, I guess it's fine. All right, it's fine. Continuing on in guild and community news, our big guild event this week. What are you calling scruffy looking, Apples? He said everything looks fine except that that little square in the upper left of the stream window. What are you calling scruffy looking? We're all fine here. How are you?
Lukewarm.
All the jokes. keep them coming. Our big guild event that we had, amazing guild event, came out really well. Was what we called our streaming event, getting started in all of the games, where to start weekend. It was put together by Marcus, Working Class Nerds podcast, one of our officers. Marcus is in the channel. It was put together by Marcus, teamed up with Fezgig, who's one of the officers from our WoW division. There was their brainchild, and then they pulled in and gathered a group of tens of people to help run it. And it basically was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Let's get a 2-hour stream for each of the games. Let's get either the game director or one of the leaders in the games that knows a lot about it to jump into that game, one of the major MMOs that we play, and show it sort of from the perspective of if you're curious about this game and you haven't played it in a while, or you haven't ever played it, here's what it's like to create a character. Here's what it's like to jump into the game. Here's when you join the guild and what it looks like, and here's sort of just the basics. Not we're not trying to make an instructional guide, but sort of a 2-hour stream walking you through what that's like. Went really well. We had a lot of attendance in a lot of the streams. We threw in a guild-wide across all divisions town hall on Friday night. So I hosted the town hall, and we had each of the game divisions talk about, you just do a 2-minute update on what's going on in their division, and why you should sort of join in on the fun game events that we have, like the mandatory fun nights across all of our divisions. We had 50, 60 people watching that stream. We had tons of people in each of the streams in each of the divisions. If you missed any of that and it sounds pretty interesting to you, it is up on our guild YouTube channel. You'll have to search for Alea Eacta Est or AIE Guild on YouTube, and it's not YouTube/user/AIE Guild. That's some other guild, and they haven't even used that. They put like 4 videos up there like 6 years ago and haven't done anything with it. As soon as we get a few more subscribers to our guild, we'll get an actual guild channel name. Until then, you can find our channel pretty easily, and it's linked in a couple different places, like all over our guild Discord. So we created this playlist of all, so you can see here all of the streaming weekend event streams. So they're all published up there on YouTube. So if you're curious about ESO, Dan Kinia talks for 2 hours about getting started in ESO. You're curious about Guild Wars 2? Corley, one of our SWTOR officers who also plays Guild Wars, subbed in for our game director, Dehara, who actually had dental surgery and couldn't talk. But a bunch of people in chat and a bunch of people in Discord. You'll get to hear people's voices and see a bunch about the games. And of course, right up here, if you want to got that hour and 15 minutes or so of the guild town hall. You can get that overview of the whole guild and what we've been doing across all the divisions lately, and a little bit of extra info on future events that we're planning and things like that.
I gotta say, I was totally unprepared for how entertaining it was to watch just this very beginning parts of each of these games, because I've been in sort of events in most of these games, and it's a completely different thing. Because like if you join, like if I log into Lotro, for instance, or Star Trek Online or Guild Wars 2, I have a character, I have the game loaded, but I don't play it. So I spend my whole time always catching up with people. I don't know what this means, what that means. I can see its beautiful um, artwork, and I can, but I'm spending all my time catching up and trying to figure out. And it's a different kind of energy than when someone's patiently explaining everything and also saying what the gotchas are.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotchas and tips and tricks, and hey, here's what you might want to do as you're getting started. And again, not super guidey, but of
Right.
like
Yeah.
us and how we play. It's the other the other game directors who are are our buds, and they're talking about it from their perspective, and that's what we want. We don't need the exhaustive 2-hour produced video. We just wanted some people to talk about the game. So yeah, it came out really well. All right, that was a little bit longer one than I wanted to talk about that, but it was very cool, and just one of the events that we have planning. We always have our big summer event in AIE. We've had it for many years now. It starts. It's sort of going to be around the first week in August, around August 2nd, which is our Remembrance Day. If people have heard us talk about that, we'll be talking about that more in the next couple weeks as an example of other things coming soon. Ah, what else, Seema?
Yeah, what else? Well, I mean, I guess I'll just say here that we always have every week MFN, every month Mega, and every other-ish or so Friday we have Master Mode Flashpoints for the Aerotech Ice Mount, which is run by Mei Lung.
Yes, he's continuing to do those. If you want to get that, well, there you go. Somebody was
A
asking
lot of us.
what's the link to our guild website, and 3 of us posted it right away into the Twitch chat. But as I said, AIE Discord, aie-guild.org, that's a good place to get to it too. And I think that's a link right on the guild website too. But yeah, get your Aerotech mounts, run some flashpoints for fun and profit with Melong Aero once every couple weeks. That's a really fun thing to do on Friday nights. Shout out to the chat room. It's always great having you guys in there, checking us out, participating, answering questions for us, making us seem like we are smarter than we actually are. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
And helping us with the links. Yeah, more sure. Keep posting the link there. Thank you, Zen. Thank you, chat room. We will catch up with you after as well. But now, as I've been overusing for the past 3 or 4 weeks now, Swoop, there it is.
Do you love swooping? Don't answer. We know you do. If you love it so much, why are you still watching this?
Thank you, B4N9, for telling people to stop watching our podcast.
Right.
Really appreciate that.
And also thank you for doing the droid.
Yes, that droid I think is going to. We are all demanding to see more from B4N9. That B4N9 sort of stole the show there in that opening cinematic. Speaking of which, we are right here on the fleet at the news terminal, news kiosk, and this is the kickoff of the Swoop races. So hopefully everybody's gotten a view of it. We'll still touch on the high points, but before we dive in and before I click on this news terminal, Seema, what's your sort of overall what's your 2 cents on Swoop races? That how you
Oh
kick
my
us off?
gosh, I do have 2 cents about it, but I want to do it at the end.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I always spring that on you, and I should should let you know that's coming. But no,
I know I know it's coming.
yeah, because it's something I always do.
Right.
Here he goes again. Uh,
But yeah,
so to get it kicked off,
let's start.
you go to this news terminal, and I'm gonna say, uh, all of the content creators are doing their guides, their workups, their videos. We're doing the pod. I mean, this is our version of it. We did the version on the PTS. We're gonna walk through it a little bit today. My favorite so far, and I'm a sucker these days for written content and notes and bullet points on a web page. I get it that video is the deal, right? And I mean, even our podcast is a podcast. It's designed to be that way. But if I want, okay, here's another side rant for you. I want information from time to time, and the internet is an amazing tool to help me figure out how I need to do things, like Photoshop and Adobe Premiere. They are insanely poor interfaces for discoverability. Maybe I want to find, how do I save a file? I just want to know the 2 things I click to save a file. So I do my search. How do I save a file? And I get 50 videos, and each video is
Right.
12 minutes long. And the first 5 minutes of the video are, hey, welcome to my channel. I'm going to tell you the two clicks on the screen in the next, but first for 10 minutes, I'm going to tell you about my channel, and ring that bell and subscribe, because if you just want to know what I could have just told
I
you
know.
10 times so far, drives me crazy. I added an add-on into YouTube for this purpose exactly. Well, for this purpose and for cutscenes that I watch for a couple other video games like Final Fantasy. Drives me crazy. I added, you can get this add-on, and there's some keyboard shortcuts that do it too in YouTube, to skip ahead 15 seconds and 30 seconds. And I'm like, click, skip ahead, click. Just tell me the answer, please. Please just tell me the answer. And I run everything on double speed. I just want to know. So to reel it back in, deep breath. So Zamzam, MMO Bits, thank you very much. Very well done website. We've got a couple of our content creators that focus on like blog content. I really appreciate that. This is something I really like. So here's all the notes, and I can just scroll through, and I could say, what were the name of the 3 factions? I can go here and I go, oh, here's the 3 factions. I don't have to watch a 10, 15, 28, 60-minute video, and like
Right.
every time, because I already said I was going to stop, didn't I? So yes,
I have to say,
I appreciate that.
I what I did too with the pictures that she had in her guide was, I remembered on Tuesday night during MFM when you were saying, "Oh, I have to drive my thing into a wall so I can look at my buttons and see what they do." I just had her site up on my other monitor, that the section where it showed what the buttons did for that bike.
Yeah, that's a great use of it right there. And here it is right here, the blatant Bex, for example, which is the
Right.
most complicated configuration of the buttons. What do
Because
they
one of
do?
my
And why
one
do
of
I
my
care?
two
Yeah.
cents about this is, and I think this is part of my problem with GSF too, is, and I'm not going to change, so just don't even try. But the way I circumnavigate the world is with my mouse.
Right. Right.
When I run forward, I push both buttons down and I go forward and I move around that way. So if I have to hover over a button and stuff, and I'm on a moving vehicle, then it runs me into a wall.
Yeah.
So I can't really mouse over the buttons when I'm moving to see what they are. So it's very helpful to have a picture of them that I can look at and go, "Oh, thank you." So thank you, Zamzam.
Yes. Thank you, Zamzam. So this is a good resource, and I recommend it. There will be good videos if you just want to sort of sit through a video and get one quick overview. There, I'm sure there's great ones already
I
being
mean, not
produced.
this one. This
Um,
won't be a good quick
No,
overview, but there will be
ours
videos.
is if you want to hear various rants and and
Yeah.
little side comments and what we care about. We don't do guides. we do commentary of various kinds. All right, so let's go to Dantooine. So I'm gonna click on this.
Our
Let me click
feature
on this.
story tonight: Swoop gangs. Once believed
I
to be
wish
a
they would have given
problem
us
only
a
in the
shuttle to
galaxy's
Dantooine, though.
underworld, these rowdy troublemakers are now running rampant on many unsuspecting worlds. Local leaders are bewildered by the sudden appearance of these gangs, but there's no shortage of speculation regarding their intentions. Theories range from innocent pranks to all-out rebellion. Joining us now to share what she's learned about this mysterious situation is GNN field reporter Chaser Almore. Chaser, what can you tell us about the abrupt
This is
increase
different
in
from the
Swoop
Imperial
gang
side. I
activity?
forgot about that.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to
Well, I
bring
mean, it's a different
you
guy, but it's
Swoop bikes. They're fast, they're
basically the
shiny,
same
they
message.
soar, they spin, they explode.
Yeah.
Swoop bikes. Do you love
Swoop
swooping?
bikes.
Don't answer. We know you do. If you love it so much, why are you still watching this?
KRB4.
Get yourself to the old world's ultimate swoop rally and
Okay, here he
start
goes. He's gonna
your
do the robot.
engines. Don't be the only laser brain who misses out on the biggest swoop event in 100 years. All World's Ultimate Swoop Rally happening right now on Dantooine and...
That's the best right
Apologies
there.
for the technical difficulties. While we get that fixed, we'd like to remind
All right.
viewers to use caution and keep a safe distance from Swoop
Yeah.
gangs.
So as we said, before there, he's epic. He's very cool. Him doing the robot at the end there, that's just amazing. I really like that. But yeah, so you new kiosk model, new cutscene to introduce it. Newscast starts, it gets broken into. Swoop bikes go to Dantooine. Yeah, as you said, Seema, we don't get any quick travel or quick shuttle to the first time to get to Dantooine the first time.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it in a second. You do get quick travels to all of the other places if you're careful about it. But so let's go to Dantooine.
It's a lot easier to get to from the Republic side too. I found.
Oh, to get to the start. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to haul yourself across the planet. I mean, Dantooine's not all that big, so it doesn't take you that long. But check out your map. You do have to get there, and there are hostile
But I just prefer to
mobs
complain about it.
that are around. Let me mount up. Let me find an appropriate. This is not an appropriate mount. This is not a swoop bike. This is a creature thing. Well, let me switch it out. What do I got? Hit my random mount button until I get something that's more swoop racy. You can on the Imperial side. You should have a quick travel point that's actually pretty close to the Imperial.
It's a little closer.
Little, yeah, just
It's a little closer.
Yeah, you're right. There, that's.
But
a
it's
little
not
bit
it's
better.
not always there. It disappears. It goes and comes.
So, just go to where it marks on your map where the start of the swoop races is. Don't run into the
Yes.
dog. These dogs that are. So we're the pirate event. Oh, there's that. Boat
Especially
floating in the air.
if you said, I won't need my armor for this. I'll just go with my outfit on. And I'll leave my gear on my Merc.
Yeah, because these here's one of these. What are they? The enraged hound pups are all over the place. Not enraged cath hounds. They're not. They're not packed 100% all over the whole map, so you can't avoid them. Just make sure you do.
Right.
They're
It's not like you have to walk on their backs across the landscape to get to the...
So here we are. Then right at the start. And a few things to point out, which are my favorite things here, is look up in the sky. And I posted this on in our guild
On the
Discord
Twitter?
too. No, I didn't. I don't think I put it on Twitter. I need to get BioWare, if you're listening, which they are not, but that's okay. I need to get up on this airship, this boat floating in the air. It looks epic. It looks really cool. I need to ride that. I need that. That's what I want. That's
We would pay 500,000 tech fragments.
I would pay a couple comas, not trace, but I would pay a lot to be able to ride that whenever I want. Anyway, as you get here, the first thing you need to do is you need to talk to this character over here. I guess we only talked to her once. We don't get to like go back to her and talk to her a bunch more times, do we?
You have to talk.
Or twice, I
Well,
mean.
Should feel
Like,
better
yeah,
now.
talk
twice.
to
But
her,
then
talk to the...
I had to talk to her every time I brought a new. Well, do you? Because I did it every time I started with a new character. But maybe you don't have to. Maybe you can go right to the terminals.
No, no. So this is a new character. I've done it on my mercenary. Now I'm on a new character. I have to talk to her. Because I did the intro.
Well, but you picked up the quest at the fleet. Like maybe if you just came to Dantooine, would you still have to talk to her?
I don't know, but I mean, I can't click on the terminals now. You think it would shut them off? I bet you do. I bet you have to do the intro to unlock them.
Yeah, you
for a
probably do.
character.
But that's one of my complaints because, I'm a complainer and I complain. I'm a complainer that complains. I
Look at
don't
this.
like doing it over and over again on different characters because it becomes meaningless. It becomes the thing I just want
Well,
to spacebar through.
yeah, you just spacebar it. Look at this. We saw this on the PTS too. The little Orlan who's rocking out here on the is it
Yeah.
Xantha or something? He's pretty cool. All right, so let me talk to her, and I am gonna spacebar it just so we can get through it. You can check it out yourself. She's all happy. Wow, did you see that? Blah 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 blah. That was awesome. So the conversations you can have with each of the Swoop rally people, I hope everybody's picking the one that says, "Hey, this is pretty cool. Let's do this. I'll race." Because the other two responses that you can have for both of them are like, "This looks dangerous," and then the other one is, "I'm going to shut you down." But they should just like not let you race then if you choose those options. I don't know why they even have those options. If you're not excited to be here, then forget it. What can I expect? Sounds good. Like this. What's happening here can't possibly be safe. Or choice number 3. This is insanity. Insanity. You need to tear this all down now. Well then fine. You don't get to race. Alright, so you talk to her, you come up here, you gotta talk to all 3 of the guys, and then you can unlock one of the mounts. Oh, see, there it is. There's the one I would like the best. So then you got the 3 gangs. The 3 gangs, so the whole deal is there's 3 factions in every sense of the word. So there's 3 gangs, each of them has a different personality, each of their race styles is different, the things that you need to do as you race is different for each one of them, and they each give you quests, and they each have their own rep, and they each have their own rewards. So it's those 3 factions is what you're working towards, getting all of the rewards that you want out of them. Each one of them has a signature swoop bike. You can get that swoop bike if you get enough reputation and enough of their currency. And then there's 3 races on each of the 3 planets, so there's technically 9 races to do. The blatant Becks are the ones that want you to blow stuff up while you're racing. Horizon's Razors are the ones that want you to go hit all the speed patches to go really fast. And then the Pit Screamers are the ones that want you to be fancy and go off the jumps. Catch some sweet air, man. And
show off for the crowd.
Show off for the crowd, right? My favorite, only for the swoop bike model, is the Blatant Becks. This is their swoop bike right here. This is the basic model. And then the advanced model is called the Lit Candle that you get if you have the highest rep in the currency. It's the only one that looks really unique to me and looks sort of new. It's got a bunch of these chrome pipes coming out of it, and a bunch of pipes coming out the back. It's got the chains wrapped around here, and it's like this big giant engine coming out the back. And when it's on, it's got flames coming out the engine, out of the motor. The other 2 bike models are models that we've seen elsewhere, like this one. It's okay. I mean, it's fine. This is the who's these guys? These are the Pit Screamers, and then this one, same thing. We've seen this model before. It's a little bit souped up for the Horizons Razors. Not bad. They're both fine. This is sort of more you're just like strapped to an engine.
I like the Pit Screamers bike. That's the one I like. I kind of gravitate toward the smaller bikes anyway, but I just like the way this one looks.
With the four fins on the front and you sort of standing up a little bit more.
No, this one that looks like the airplane engine that you're just kind of strapped to the
Oh,
back of.
those are the Razors. That's Horizons Razors.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
I
with the
got them
Rodian.
confused then.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
here
it
she
is. Yeah, Horizons Razors. That's she says right there.
Omitopi. We talk Rodian a little bit.
Yes.
I can use my Rodian there. Yeah. No, I agree. I like this one. This is a really nice paint job. That's a good job on this one. Yeah, it's these one. The Pit Screamers is the weakest one of the bunch, I would say. In terms of the model of the bike.
It kind of looks like, bikes that you can get for 10K credits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is my favorite right here. It's got a little bit of a Mad Max feel to it. I feel like too. All right, so you wanted to describe the 3 race styles in a little bit more detail than what I just did. You've written them all, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I would say, let's start with Blatant Bex. We kind of went over the basics when we did this before on the PTS, but what's going to happen is you'll hop on the speeder, and then you run through the race course. And each speeder, depending on which group you get it for, has different abilities. If it's a Blatant Bex, your abilities will allow you to blow up a pile of ammo or set off a pile of fireworks. So you go through the course and you have to hit a certain number of fireworks and a certain number of explosives in order to complete the quest, to complete the mission. If you want to hit the bonus timer, then you have to finish the race before the bonus timer goes off. Unfortunately, you don't know what the bonus timer is until it goes off, but hey, that's just how it works. Also, there are snares along the race track, and those go with the planet.
Yeah.
So like,
I didn't realize that right away, but yeah.
So like it's on Tatooine, it's dust bunnies, little dust storms that you don't want to get caught in because they slow you down. Here is the mines, I believe, right?
Yes.
And then on Onderon, it's these spikes that you don't want to go over.
Right, the beast traps.
Is that what they are? Okay,
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so Onderon's got the beast traps. The mines here are left over from the pirate incursion, where you're planting the mines as one of the missions. So the mines are left over from that. So it's like watching for the pirate mines that are left over. And then the dust storms on Tatooine. So it's kind of cool. It sort of fits the theme of the planet. You just need to steer around them. They're not too tough to avoid. I found the beast trap ones on Onderon a little bit hard to avoid just because they're hard to see compared to the other two.
I found once I got used to looking for them, they were really actually the easiest to avoid because they're the furthest apart, and they're big, so you can swerve around them. It's just, but you kind of have to train your eye to see them because they look like they just a piece of the landscape, really. Like they could be part of a stadium or something. They're just very inobtrusive.
They're pretty static. Are all of them are all the hazards static? I don't think any of them really move around. Just seemed like the mines here on Dantooine were like all over the place. The beast traps,
I think the mines
seemed less.
Yes, I think. Yeah.
Is that the case?
I think so.
Yeah. Or is there? Or I'm just.
It seemed like that to me. Yeah. So for me, Blatant Bex is actually the hardest gameplay because if you want to destroy the explosives, which you do, the way you do it is it's a reticule, so you have to land the reticule on the target and then hit the button while you're speeding forward. And so for me, since I'm using my mouse to land the reticule and to direct my bike, I sometimes end up, changing directions, and then I get disoriented. I get easily disoriented anyway, but then I get disoriented. But now, since I realize that doesn't matter, you can just wander around until you find your way again
Time for
anyway.
meditation.
Because if you want to make the bonus timer, you're gonna have to learn the course first anyway, and it however long it takes you to learn the course, that's how long it takes, and then you can work on getting the bonus timer.
And I think that's the key. I mean, if you're just getting into the event and you want to try it out and figure out what's going on, get on the bike, ride the course. I mean, if you're going for like all the achievements and everything, you're gonna need to learn the course. Ride the course a couple times. Don't complete it, because then as soon as you complete it, then you can't do it. Then it's a daily, so you're sort of done. You can't do it again. So ride the course, dismount before you get to the end, go back to the start, ride it again if you want to practice it a little bit, and then you can do it every day as well, or do it on a different character, switch characters. But you'll need to get used to it that way.
I have some tips if you feel like this kind of gameplay isn't your strong point, so that you can still be successful.
Ooh, lay it on us.
First of all, I would say start with and stick with pit screamers for a while, because it's the easiest. To me, it's the easiest. Also, I would say clear everything out of your quest tracker except for the one mission that you're doing right now, because for me, one of the challenges is I'm looking ahead of me on the track, but I'm also trying to see in the quest tracker what I'm supposed to do and if I've done it yet. So if there's a bunch of quests there and I have to pick it out each time, that makes it harder.
Yeah.
Also, another another pro tip, don't start off a bunch of crafting before you take off, especially any crafting that's going to make a conquest target pop up.
Wow, that's even worse.
Yes.
They
Yes.
have a setting for that any of those kind of things. There's a setting that says don't pop any of those things up while I'm in a war zone.
Yeah.
They should do it for this kind of thing too. It should carry over.
Right. So with the pit screamers, the main thing you have to do is run the course and show your flare when you pass the audience. And the flare is your number 3, or for me it's the third ability. And then I think you have to go through some hoops or whatever. But my other tip there is I just hit that all the time. Just hit it, whether I think I'm going by the stands or not, because the stands are also
Just keep
they're
spamming that ability. Yeah, that's a good tip.
yeah, they don't stand out to me. Once you get familiar, you start to see them. But and then I would just stick with, if you are feeling like this is not your thing, I would just stick with pit screamers. Do pit screamers on Dantooine, then on Onderon, then on Tatooine. Or maybe you just stay on Dantooine, because actually learning each planet, to me, learning the actual route is also not as trivial, right? Because when I look at the screen, it doesn't easily translate to me where the path is, like it does in some other cases. Like if I was in Corellia, you can tell it's a street because there's buildings on either side.
Right.
But sometimes here, the pathway, you'll come to a fork in the pathway and it's a dirt path, and one way is where the rest of the race is, and the other way is like where the calf hounds are, not where you want to go.
Yeah. The Andron one to me is the most confusing, because there's like this really good, cool jump that you can do, and then when you jump, you like end up at a dead end. I'm like, what's going on there?
Well, what is going on there is that actually when you land that jump, you turn right immediately and it goes right to another jump.
Gotta make a fast right turn.
Yeah. But Maybe one other thing I was going to say is, so there's actually it's also a confusion factor too, but there's on these courses there's multiple ways you can go to
Yes.
achieve the same thing. So sometimes you can go up on a ramp, the other people that are going down below, that's because maybe they have a different goal for that race. Like they want to pick up more of one thing, or they want to cut corners because they're trying to go faster or whatever. You can take whichever route you want.
Yeah.
Then the last thing I'll say is like learn what the end of the race course looks like for each planet, because when you approach the end, if you haven't completed the quest items, like if you haven't hit all the explosive things or you haven't done all the flares or whatever, turn around and go backwards until you do, and then turn around and come back, and then you can go back to the end. I can't tell you how many times in the very beginning I got surprised by the end. I went through this last thing and I'm like, okay, you failed, and I'm like, wait, it's over.
Right. Right. Yeah. This is the thing already. I thought I hit all the bombs. I thought I blew up every bomb I saw, and now I haven't done enough bombs, and now I'm at the end. So yeah.
But seriously, that since it's if you feel like since the speed is controlled for you and things happen kind of fast, just it doesn't have to be fast. You can take it at your own you can turn around, you can go backwards, you can go forwards until you learn it, then you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
The world's your oyster, as they say.
Couple things, sort of the tips on my side, and that's probably all we're gonna be doing today. We're not gonna actually run you through the races. You can we'll leave that exercise to the student. Uh, that you can't the buttons go on your main bar, which for me is actually I've remapped to my second bar, so it's my function keys are on it. You can't move the buttons around. You can't, even if you unlock the bar before you get on the bike, you can't do that. Also, when you jump on the bike, it just starts moving forward. You can't come to a stop. So you see what I'm doing here is I'm sort of just running into the wall of this little cart, this stall. If you want to just get a quick look and hover over the tool tips, you can look it up on Zamzam's site, but this is what I did to start, as well as I figured out what these abilities were by running into the wall here, keep making my swoop bike a little bit stationary by running into the wall, and then hovering over what's the speed boost, what's the flare, and those are the only two things you need to move. Sir Galahad had a tip in there is if you turn on the emergency brake, which is it's a click it to turn it on and then click it again to turn it off. Not
Yeah.
not like I thought, which was you just like hold it down if you want to slow down. So you remember to turn it off if you need to. You could turn on the emergency brake and just go slow through the whole course and get a good view of everything and how it works.
Yeah.
Um,
You definitely could.
So yeah, the pit screamers I think are fine. And as you said, Seema, I think are the easiest. Although you do have to go off jumps and go through hoops. There's sort of two sub objectives to complete it. The Horizons Racers I think is maybe even slightly easier. You do have to hit the race pads, but the sort of the secondary thing of like gathering the orbs sort of just happens anyway, and you don't need to use, I don't even think, to hit the bonus timer, you don't need to use
No,
the orb
you don't.
ability.
I mean, I don't know about the bonus timer, but you don't have to make
In
to be
fact, I
successful.
thought I
Yeah.
was hitting every orb and I was still not hitting the orbs fast enough. You have to
No.
hit 3 orbs within 4 seconds of each orb to turn on the turbo boost ability, and
Yeah,
mine
I never saw
never lit up for me.
I never saw mine turn on even once.
So that was
But then again,
frustrating.
I'm not exactly watching it the whole time either.
I think
But yeah, I don't think so.
the blatant Bex to me is the most difficult because, as you said,
Mhm.
not only do you have to be using the targeting reticle to blow up the explosive crates, but you also have to be using you have to be using your speed boost and using the fireworks as you go past the stands, and you have to do all of those. I mean, you have to do all of those things if you want to. Well, you have to do two of the fireworks and the explosives if you even want to just complete it at all. And then you have to be using the speed boost if you want to complete it in the bonus time. So there you're using more buttons and driving around and avoiding the pit pitfalls, the traps and things like that, which makes it more annoying.
I don't know if they're going to do this, but I mean, the way they've designed it, they absolutely could just keep adding complexity.
Yeah, adding more things, adding more tracks. I don't know. They could.
No, I'm thinking even adding more abilities. Like 3 abilities is all they have, except for Blatant Bex has 4.
Yeah. Yeah, they could.
Well, I guess I mean, I'm not counting dismount, but yeah.
And then 2 things which we won't go into too much detail, but definitely check them out. Just sort of wrap up here since we're going late. And you can look on Zamzam's site. The reason we're doing this, there's rep. So you can get in the rep for doing each of the dailies, and there's 3 weeklies
And conquest.
and a lot of conquest points. There's four weeklies. Each of the factions has their own weekly, and then there's a meta weekly, which is to do 6 of any races, and you get 1 of the purple rep tokens for each of the 3 factions. As you build up the factions and the currency, then there's all of the vendors' rewards. There's a bunch of decos. There's an armor set for each of the factions, and there's 2 speeder bikes for each of the factions. So there's the baseline model, and then there's the gold version of each of them, which again are pretty cool. We showed those in the beginning. Oh, and
I want the gold version.
the tacticals. So
Oh yeah, the tacticals.
this is something I didn't even realize. I didn't look it up on the vendors, but Zamzam outlined it in her post. The tacticals are interesting because they're like a cosmetic thing that has to do with either getting on or getting off your mount. Make something cool happen as soon as you dismount, or make something cool happen when you mount up. So not something you would really have on in the long term, and certainly nothing you would bring to an ops fight, certainly nothing that's going to make you fight better. You're not going to bring any of these into PvP because you can't mount in PvP. But like this, as Beck's dismount flourish, as you dismount, it launches you into the air. Or what's this other one? Yeah, Screamer's finishing pose. This sounded kind of cool. I wanted to see what it looks like. Keep the audience entertained by sticking the landing. Ends your ride with a pose and some smoke cover. So you basically get to do a superhero landing as soon as you dismount your speeder bike. That's kind of cool. This made me think. We were talking a little bit about it in the guild chat earlier on Discord. They should give us another slot just to have cosmetic tacticals. I mean, these are really cosmetic things. These aren't fighting tacticals. They don't like change your rotation at all. They don't do what tacticals are supposed to do. They're a cosmetic thing. Do that. Embrace that. Make a cosmetic tactical slot. Make cosmetic only tacticals, and then go crazy. Put these on a bunch of rep vendors. Put them in the cartel store, and all of those weird, cool things that we were talking about. Wouldn't it be cool if I could turn my Inquisitor into a Force Ghost? Well, then fine. There's a cosmetic tactical. Dude, there, BioWare. That I'll give you that idea for free. Or if you want to give me a commission for it, that's fine.
In the meantime, I think we all have characters that don't do ops, even those of us who do ops. So I mean,
and you could switch it out too. So
although and you can switch it out because we're always saying in ops, don't forget to switch your tacticals. Now we have to. Now it'd be even funnier. Like you're riding up to red, and everyone does a flourish when they get off their bikes, and like you forgot to switch your tactical.
Exactly. Yeah. But cool stuff. Check those out. And then the one other last thing to check out is there's a couple hidden achievements, and they've found 2 of them so far. Zamzam has them listed on their on her blog site. One of them's on Tatooine, and of course has to do with the Sarlacc pit, which is kind of cool. And what's the other one? We already had somebody get this in the guild. If you go and purposefully hit all of the obstacles on every track, you get a very special. Well, there's not a title associated with it. That was the
No,
complaint.
yeah, there's no title, but it's called,
Medulla was talking about that.
right. And I actually I do aspire to that one because that will take me some practice to actually do that.
Because you have to
Unless
find
it
them all.
counts over time. Yeah.
Per-
Is it all of them in one run or all of them
Uh,
eventually?
I don't know. Hit all
We'll
obstacles on
find out.
Onderon, all on Dantooine, and all on Tatooine, and then you've completed the perfect idiot achievement. So there you go. All right, a little bit long tonight, but fun stuff. Definitely try it out. Definitely have some fun with it. Pretty cool rewards. Pick out your swoop bike and at least do that rep and faction. Oh, the one other rant which I didn't get to is apparently, so they made a change in the past and apparently reverted part of this change, which was, you know how the rep tokens don't drop anymore? Well, apparently, and
Mhm.
it's been reported, I think Medulla reported this, that once you hit the rep cap for the week, then the rep tokens start dropping again, which they didn't. So they put this back in. So they decided that it was a bad idea to have rep tokens and have them carrying over from week to week. Then, for some reason, they decided that is no longer a bad idea. So now, when you hit rep cap for the week, you get rep tokens, and rather than saying, maybe it's fine, maybe we can do that, rather than just backing out that change and just giving us rep tokens again, they've like added another change on top, which is a terrible idea because you could have broken up 10 other things, but you don't get
Like
rep
the
tokens
Zyos
until
World
you hit the
Boss.
what's that? Sorry, I was ranting too loud.
That's how they broke the Zyos World Boss.
That's probably how they broke the Zyos World Boss. I don't know why they put it. They didn't really explain why they took it out in the first place, although we could guess. They didn't explain why they put it back in halfway. I don't know what's going on there, but there it is. You can only get so much rep per week. Apparently now we can get a bunch of extra rep tokens, so the next time it comes along, people are gonna get, they're gonna be able to have rep tokens banked up.
I mean, I get that. I totally get the desire to be able to get as many rep tokens this week as you can because that is what rep grinding is. I kind of felt like it was nice that I got a break. Like, oh, I got to 12K. Well, now it's 15K. I got to 15K. I couldn't get any more rep even if I wanted to, so I can do something else now.
Yes.
But I get the whole, driven. I want rep. I want to do my thing, and I want to play SWTOR, and I want to play it now, and this is what I want to play. So I
mean,
get that.
I get it too, but then if you get all your rep this week and then never play the event again, is that good?
Yeah.
Did you win? I mean,
Well,
I think that's why they took it.
I
They,
think,
I
but
think that's why they changed it, and I agreed with it, even though I liked banking the rep too.
I think it's about providing options.
Well,
I,
but
I'm
it's
I
yeah.
agree with you that the change on top of change on top of change. I agree with you with that part of it, but I can
Well, then
see
why'd they
why
do it
they
in the
would.
first place? There you go.
I don't know. I don't know why they did it in the first place.
All right. So
They might have changed their philosophy on that too, which, change is allowed.
no, it is not. Change equals rants. That's what you get. All right. So with that final rant of the evening, EPC 344 Droid is ready to blast out an airlock to broadcast this podcast to all of you. Please keep up with us on Twitter at Max the Gray and at AIESEMA. And if you know any people that should be playing the game with us, point them our way. Tell them to come check out the podcast. Tell them to come join us live. Tell them to check out our guild website at aie-guild.org, what they can get on our guild Discord, and they can come join our guild on Starforge. That's what we want to have happen. That's what we like. We want people to come play with us on our mandatory fun nights on Tuesday nights, on our big mega events that we have monthly. Come play. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.